Former First Lady, United States Senator representing the state of New York, and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton will testify before the so-called Benghazi Select Committee tomorrow. In recent weeks, it's become absolutely clear that this committee is nothing more than a political hit job on Hillary Clinton. I remember the program Queen for a Day. I guess this is Speaker for the Day. Republican Majority Leader of the House of Representatives, McCarthy. Here's what he said on a TV show, radio show, whatever it was. Everybody thought Hillary Clinton was unbeatable, right? We put together a Benghazi special committee, a select committee. What are her numbers today? Her numbers are dropping. Well, that's one reason he was Speaker for the Day, but there were other reasons, of course. But, Mr. President, he told the truth. He told the truth. Congressman McCarthy isn't the only Republican to speak the truth, though, about this so-called committee. Last week, Republican Congressman Richard Hanna of New York said, and I quote, "Sometimes the biggest sin you can commit in D.C. is to tell the truth. This may not be politically correct, but I think that there was a big part of this investigation that was designed to go after people and an individual, Hillary Clinton, period." After what Kevin McCarthy said, I'm still quoting, "It's difficult to accept at least a part of it was not. I think that's the way Washington works, but you like to expect more from a committee that spent millions of dollars and tons of time." That is an understatement. About $5 million just for this one select committee. There have been other hearings that have cost also huge amounts of taxpayer dollars. But they're going to bring her in again tomorrow. And they said, be ready for 8 hours of interrogation. And that's what it is, it's interrogation. These two quotes from two House Republicans. Hanna from New York is not a Democrat, he's a Republican. And the message is clear. The Benghazi Committee is a political calculation meant to influence presidential elections. And there's more. Now we found there's even Republican staffers on the committee who claim that he, the staffer, was fired because he refused to unfairly target Secretary Clinton. But what else could we expect from a committee whose sole purpose is to drag a presidential hopeful through the mud? It's no secret, Mr. President. For the last 2 years, numerous Republican-directed organizations with huge amounts of money have been targeting Hillary Clinton for more than 2 years because they knew she would likely run for president, and they wanted to soften her up, just like McCarthy said. Look at the committee's record. In 17 months, committee Republicans have held a whopping 3 hearings, 17 months. And tomorrow will be the first public hearing since January. Mr. President, it's October. October's winding down. Instead, Republican Chairman Trey Gowdy and his committee have focused millions of dollars and thousands of staff hours on Hillary Clinton and Hillary Clinton only. The committee has interviewed or deposed 8 Clinton campaign staffers. Yet, Chairman Gowdy has held only 1 hearing with an expert from the Intelligence Committee, and not a single hearing with anyone from the Department of Defense. Clearly a key entity in responding to attacks on our diplomatic posts. And what have they learned in that time? Nothing. A recent report by the Democrats on the Benghazi Select Committee confirmed that none of the witnesses they interviewed supported any of the wild conspiracy theories regarding these attacks. Contrast the Benghazi Committee with the work of the legally required investigation of these attacks, the Accountability Review Board. An independent review overseen by respected leaders. Thomas Pickering, one of the great diplomats of our time, and Admiral Michael Mullen. They completed their work in less than 3 months, not 17 months. The review board immediately put out a hard-hitting report with a series of recommendations to make sure an attack like this doesn't happen someplace else around the world. And what was Secretary Clinton's reaction to that report? She took responsibility immediately and began to implement the recommendations from the Accountability Review Board. So in summary, Republicans spent at least $5 million to attack Secretary Clinton. This one committee, this one select committee is 4.7 or 8 million. Republicans have done little to investigate the Benghazi attacks. And what little work House Republicans actually did to only reconfirm the basic findings of all the previous investigations. House Republicans sadly have used the tragic deaths of 4 innocent Americans and turned it into an appalling political farce. The very notion that an official House committee was used as a political tool is inexcusable. I would suggest that the chairman of that committee should be ashamed of himself. It's even more disgraceful that nearly, I repeat, $5 million taxpayer dollars were spent on this political hit job. Senate Democrats will continue to fight to get this sham committee disbanded. Weeks ago, we sent a letter to Speaker Boehner urging him to bring this disgraceful committee to an end. But no, they're plodding forward. Today, Senate Democrats have sent a letter to the Republican National Committee requesting that it reimburse the American people for the Benghazi committee's expenses. Why did we do that? It's only fair since the so-called committee is clearly a Republican political organization.